Are in Austria with Meinklang, and we got a lot of Meinklang in the club, or just generally on our site because A, it's great, but B, they also make a lot of wine and a lot of different types of wine. So we love their Mulatschak labels. They have a red and a white, which is obviously orange that we'll talk about in a second. But we love these wines because they have everything from entry level, like just getting into natural wine, all the way to very expensive, very like refined, and just like, compete with the best of the best wines in the world. Like they have some Pinot Noirs that I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is basically Burgundy. Anyways, but so these are like lovely, perfect entry level, both orange and I would say like red wines, I would say both made in kind of like a glue style. They come with their like cap top, and I feel like that was a purposeful choice that they made because like they're supposed to be generally inexpensive, really tasty, but not like crazy complex. You're not supposed to be like sitting here for hours contemplating this wine. You're supposed to be like, man, that is a really tasty orange wine. Plus they just look fun. So that's a little bit maybe too much information to start because I've given away a little bit of what we'll head into, but that's okay. So starting with the color, quite orange. The grapes are Weißburgunder, Pinot Gris, I believe. Is it Pinot Gris? It's probably what's making it darkest. And Traminer. So Pinot Gris and Traminer and Weißburgunder are normally quite light, but the Pinot Gris could be / probably is the thing that's giving it the orangier color. I don't know exactly what the percentages are, but I would guess it's probably relatively evenly mixed. I also don't know exactly how long it was on skins, so all of that's just a total guess to me. Yeah, so I think I've talked a lot about Meinklang on most of these videos, but in case this is the first one you're watching, I'll go ahead and give like a brief overview again. Meinklang is like definitely one of my favorite natural winemakers, and just this very, like, I guess the right word might be like historic. They're the type of winemaker in natural wine that has proven that biodynamics and farming and making wine naturally are all possible at scale. They make a ton of wine. I don't actually know what their volume is, but they make a lot of it, and they are basically hearkened as this perfect example because they do it completely biodynamically. That's why there's always animals. I think it's always a cow, probably because they're biodynamic, but they have, chickens and goats and whatever, all on their territory where they're growing wine, both in Austria and in Slovakia. Yeah, Slovakia. Yes. So they're famous for that. And then they obviously also, like, another part that I don't think gets mentioned as much, but is important, they're, paying their people appropriately. They have a staff that, knows what they're doing and never have issues with, I don't know, just, yeah, you just want to make sure that everyone in the life cycle of the wine is compensated or having a good experience, both from the grapes to the people, from the people, most important, to the grapes, etc. So that's my little spiel on them. We love them. You'll likely see a lot more of them. But yeah, this one is very fun. So back to it. Color, very orange. On the nose, oh, it's so nice. I love orange wines that have like Traminer in them because it always gives them this lovely aromatic quality that you wouldn't get from just like a Pinot Gris. I'm getting like florals, but also almost kind of like, I don't know if it's like arugula or some sort of like green freshness to it at the top. And then towards the bottom, it's more like clementines. I normally don't know about my oranges, but I've been eating a lot of clementines lately, so I'm very certain this is clementine-esque, not blood orange or anything like that. Lighter. Yeah, there's generally just like nice citrus notes in there. The oranges are certainly first, and there's more, but it's like, you know what? I'm having a flashback. It's some sort of like, it's a fruity, I think it's still kind of in the orange category because that's really what's coming forward, but it's like a fruity, maybe it's like a fruit by the foot or something, like orange flavored. Yeah, because it's got this like I don't know, I don't want to say texture because we haven't even like tried it yet, but I do believe that a lot of times you can kind of smell something that has like a texture where it feels like it's going to be candy-esque, if that makes sense, but not candy. Like, I don't know, 90s kids, like fruit by the foot stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure I will figure out exactly how to describe it later. So on the palate. Man, that is just so good. It's like, it's simple, but it's tasty. Oh, you know what? Especially now that I'm drinking it, it's harkening me back. Is that the right word? Use harkening? Bringing me back, whatever, to my childhood. Orange Crush. Did you drink those Orange Crushes in like the glass bottles when you were a kid? I think my baseball team or whatever, softball team was named Orange Crush. It totally has the mouthfeel of that, and it has the oranginess to it. Obviously, it has more going on than just that, but wow, that is totally what it tastes like. Let me revisit it. It's so interesting because it's simple, it's tasty, it's tart, it has a decent finish, but it's just perfect entry-level wine. Like, this is everything you could hope for in like an entry-level orange wine. It has the color that you're looking for when you're like, look, I brought an orange wine. Everyone's gonna be like, yes. Sometimes you see them and you're like, why is that orange? Like, you're like, oh yes, that is not the normal color. It has the actual like orange flavor profile to it. It is like clean, which obviously is important, but like it's not at all, there's nothing funky about it in any other ways that it could potentially be funky, which is not as typical with orange wines, which is great when you're wanting to introduce someone to orange wine. And it's just delicious. It's like I said, like this is kind of like I feel like it's like their Glou line of wines, and I just want to just keep drinking it because it's so good. So as far as pairings go, it's going to be super food friendly. It doesn't have, sometimes like it can have a decent amount of tannin. I would say this one is pretty light on tannin. So I would stick with more towards like white wine type pairings. I'd put it with literally anything. Well, anything light. Sorry, that's just not true. I would put it with anything that's like lighter meats that are grilled. I would put it with like winter or fall type salads, like salads that have a lot of oomph to them, whether it's like, meat added to them or a lot of like nuts and seeds. I think that could be good there, or like cranberries. I would put it with a lot of vegetarian dishes, actually. This is a really good potential one for if you're going to do like squash. I think it could be great with different types of like we will roast acorn squash and put rice in it. Could be really good with that. Basically, yeah, like anything that is on the lighter-ish side and or vegetarian, you're gonna be able to easily put this with it. So tasty, great producer, great price point. How can you go wrong? I hope you really enjoy it, and it's great because we normally have a decent amount of stock of it too. They again make a lot of wine, which is great for us because it's not that common in natural wine. So enjoy.